And welcome to Ms. JD's chat, yet another one in our series. This one, we are so thrilled to welcome Kelly Hoey, who just announced a new book, Build Your Dream Network. Your moderator today is me, Katie Larkin-Wong. I'm the immediate past president of Ms. JD, served as Ms. JD's president for 5 years. And actually, that is how I met Kelly Hoey. I met Kelly Hoey when I attended my very first Ms. JD conference as a law student at Northwestern Law, which was a longer time ago than either Kelly or I wants to admit. So
it was a good time ago.
It was a good time ago. But as I like to tell people, everything I learned about networking, I learned from Kelly Hoey. And I am so excited that she finally decided to take all of that amazing advice that she's given me over these many years and put it into a book to share with everybody else. And so for the next half hour, we're going to talk with Kelly about Build Your Dream Network, what it means to build your dream network, and why she tells everyone to quit committing random acts of networking. Did I miss anything, Kelly?
You got it all. You got it all.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with Kelly, I'm not going to give you a large background, but let me say this. Kelly started her career in big law at a famous white shoe New York law firm, ended up leaving that and moving into a professional development role. From there, she went on to work at 85 Broads, and then has gone on to do incredible things in the startup and entrepreneurial world. Kelly has been listed on far too many top lists for me to go through right now. But you should check out her bio. We've got it on our website. It's on Build Your Dream Network. And so you can see all of that information there. But now she's an absolute star in the entrepreneurial world. So Kelly, let's start there. How do you go from big law, which tends to represent pretty big companies and things like that, into and do really well there, and then move into being a queen in the startup world? How do you do that?
Well, I'm going to answer this question two ways. One, networks and relationships are the only thing that explains my career that has gone from, as you noted, I would say from Canada and from big firms to president of 85 Broads and what I'm doing now. So every opportunity I've had in my career, whether it's paid or unpaid, the best ones for me have come through my network. And so, that's why I always sort of stress to people. It's why you've got to build these networks and build them before you need them, or you need them, because you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from. The other aspect of how do you get from big law to writing a book and doing what I'm doing now? Well, some of that discipline and focus, deadlines, persistence, that training started when I was a lawyer. And, I say when I was in law firm management, that's where a lot of the kind of entrepreneurial stuff started happening as well. And I know it'll sort of seem funny to people, but when I really think about it, lawyers and big firms, you're entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. It's a lockstep system. You've got to be able to do good work. You've got to be able to build a network of supporters, and you got to build a book of business. No one hands that to you. Even if it's a firm client, you have to develop your own relationships there. Just a funny side note, when I was writing the book, I had a 4.5-month deadline to deliver the manuscript. And all my friends who I consider, real writers, they all said to me, "You can't do it. Get more time." Like, this is not going to happen. Talk to your publisher. Like, you've got to drop everything. You can't do it in that amount of time. And I looked at them and I said, "You forget one thing. I used to be a lawyer." The publisher/editor, otherwise known as my client, has said January 15th is the date of closing. I don't know how I'm going to get, to closing, but closing will happen on the day my client has decreed it.
I love that you never really leave that realm, right? It's something you carry with you going forward, and those lessons.
Exactly. And so even if whatever you do in your career, and the things that you're being told to do as a young lawyer, or the things you're reading about, and thinking about and interviewing for as a law student, you need to throw yourself kind of in all these opportunities as a lawyer, because whatever you do, whether you go in-house, whether you climb the ladder to become partner, you become an academic, you choose to do something else with your law degree, that training and discipline and knowledge and network will hold you in good stead, whatever you choose to do.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's so true.
And achieve. So yeah. I think of networking as problem solving. Now, problem can be negative or positive, but it's like, what's your challenge? What's your goal? What's your ambition? What's your problem? Now, who are the people who can help you solve that? Mm-hmm. What are the ways you engage and connect with them more deeply? And so that how you work a room, gee, you should be on Facebook. That's the third thing I think about. And so whenever anyone talks to me about networking and they're like, hey, how do you work a room and how do you do this? I'm like, stop. Let's go back to the beginning. What direction are you headed?
Yeah.
Until you decide where you're going, you can't figure out which people who can help you achieve your goal. And then you can figure out, all right, where are they hanging out and where's the best way for me to be networking and communicating with them?
Yeah, these are often networking and things, these relationship building issues are things that women in particular do in our day-to-day lives and do naturally, but then it becomes a business issue. And suddenly it's like, well, I don't really know how to do that, or I can't talk to her about business because, that's just not okay. Can you talk a little bit about overcoming some of those issues and how to take the things that we do naturally into a networking world?
Yeah. Someone asked me this question, I think, is yesterday. Because, think about it. Who do we like to do business with? People we know and trust. And so in terms of all of the, young women on on this, I mean, you need to be asking your network for business. Now, you don't have to do that in that smarmy salesman type of way, but this is where letting your network know what your expertise is, letting your network know how they can help you, but also finding those intersections with other people. If you're having hesitations on asking a good friend for work, then you really take a step back. Your friends and people want to help you. Your friends or running departments at other big companies and all that kind of stuff. They need the best legal advice that's out there. Advice or your firm's advice. And that sort of way we have to bifurcate our brain or relationships in terms of what are friends and what's business. It's like, to be able to say to your friends, like, I would like to talk to you about business. This is what I do, and this is where I'm going in my career. This is what I know you're doing, and this is what I know what's going on with your company and your business. Here's how I see what my skills, my firm's practice. I would like to see if there's a chance for us to be able to pitch business. If not now, then down the road. But compartmentalize it. Business is business, friends is friends. Got to do it. And I mean, I hate one of those things. It's what the guys do, where they are, and I really do. Like, at this point in time, we as women need to be asking for business, and women who have business to give out need to look at who they're giving the business to. And if you believe in women succeeding and achieving, then make sure you're sending business and work to other women. If they're the best person for the job, whether it's a friend or someone you're not friendly with, or someone you dislike, or someone you want to refer to with that other word, starts with a B. If they're the best person for the job, send them the work.
Yeah.
Get off my soapbox on that.
Well,
we get out there and we tweet our values, we talk our values, like, take your values into action. And so for part of that is to be able to say to people, hey, you believe in me, you believe in supporting women, women in business, women in leadership. If I'm going to succeed as a lawyer, I need to start building the relationships that are going to build my book of business. too goes back to, the whole question of networking, and where, I say you got to start with what your goal is. Part of your goal and part of the way you achieve success with networking is you do the homework and do the research in advance. So you're not just like, hey, I'd like to get your work. Like, be able to tell someone why you're the best person for the job. Why what they need is something that you can, you can be the right lawyer to service it, solve their problems. But that also involves understanding their business. And you got to be able to do that. Just make the ask.
Yeah.
Being Canadian, I'll quote a Canadian, you miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Oh, Wayne Gretzky.
Take the shots. What's the worst thing they can do? Say no?
Yeah.
Then good. Then you can say to yourself, why am I spending a lot of time on a relationship that's not supportive of me?
Right. No, totally. Okay, we got to go back to something that we've alluded to a couple times now, but let's talk about online and offline, right? The conference, the meeting at a conference, the follow-up after that, what that looks like and how to be successful at it, how to take an online relationship offline, because let's face it, a lot of us are developing relationships that way. I see it all the time at the Ms. JD conference, right? People who've been following each other on the blog or, on Twitter, and they meet for the first time at the conference. And it's like such an exciting moment.
Yep.
But you talk a lot about being purposeful about both of those things and how they interact. And I think this is probably one of your most classic quit committing random acts of networking. So can you talk a little bit about that? How can we be more purposeful about it? And how do we connect the two?
Because your generation, and this is absolutely right, this is, you're networking online, you're networking offline. You need to be, as I say to people, you need to be amphibious. And all of it for me is a sort of like a networking whole, because your multiple touch points to deepen a relationship may come from, yes, you're right, Ms. JD conference, an email, a text, a Facebook post, a LinkedIn connection. What are we up to there? 6, maybe it's a tweet, 7, whatever. Now had those, because they sort of classic, like how do you get a sale? How do you, those kind of classic books on and advice on how you make these relationships. They're like, you need 7 touch points. Well, you could have 7 really quick. The key for me is you need to understand how you're presenting yourself and how you're engaging online to be able to take it effectively offline. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people think of online in this like sort of technology and platform and marketing platform way, versus this is just another way human beings are communicating. And forget the technology for a moment and think about the people. And with every post, you're connecting with somebody else. And so I think of online networking like physical spaces. So a Ms. JD conference at one point is kind of like LinkedIn. Your office, if you're working a big firm, if you're working law, any law firm, that's kind of LinkedIn. Ms. JD conference, during coffee breaks is probably Facebook. And then, anything that's going on with a cocktail reception, that's going to be like Twitter or Snapchat, And so instead of thinking of these as technology, think of them as I'm engaging with someone else. And instead of the cocktail party, it's Twitter. And I think if you start doing that, when you meet the person in real life, and first in real life, maybe this, a Google Hangout or a Skype, when you meet them in real life and you take that relationship offline, there's sort of less of this kind of speed bump in the relationship road, because you've already had a really truly human connection and dialogue.
I love it. All right, classic last question. As people are turning this off and trying to figure out, what am I going to do as soon as I'm done that is going to change the way I network, or how am I going to change the way I network? What's a simple step that people can take that you think will, change things for them?
Okay, so you're probably sitting at your desk. I want you to think about this. Every human interaction is networking. So when you get off of this hangout, I want you to go and look at your email signature line. I want you to listen to your own voicemail. I want you to check your online bio on your firm's website. If you haven't updated it recently, I want you to do that. And I want you to look at your headshot you have on social media. And I want you to make sure all of those things are networking you really strongly.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Kelly Hoey, I absolutely loved having you here. We'll have to have you back again for another Ms. JD chat.
Oh yeah, sign me up. Let's do it.
And before book number 2, because I know another one's coming. There's just no way. You've had way too much fun with this. And so we'll look forward to that one as well. But if people have questions, send them in to us. We're looking forward to hearing them and answering them on the blog. For those of you who are interested in flexing your networking skills, a friendly reminder that the Ms. JD annual conference will take place March 3rd at Northwestern Law School in Chicago, my alma mater. Excited to be going home. So join us there. And in the meantime, connect with us. As Kelly says, online, offline, really important. So at MsJD.org on Twitter, MsJD.org on Facebook, and of course we're on LinkedIn, where we also post scholarship and job opportunities. To connect with Kelly, check her out at jkellyhoey on Twitter. And we'll post
JK Hoey on Twitter.
JK Hoey, sorry. JK Hoey on Twitter. We'll post all of Kelly's connections too down below, so you have everything from the clips on the YouTube channel. But thank you for joining us for this Ms. JD chat. We'll see you guys back next month for a new one. And please join me in thanking Kelly. Kelly, it was great to see you. And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you all. That was fun. Really fun.
Bye.